all comments and all concerns that residents, especially users of the complex, may have. I think second thing to say at the outset is that this is a serious exercise, and I think that we want to really look at all options and to make it clear that this is absolutely not some kind of underhanded way of simply shutting the theatre down forever and not replacing it at all. We need to make it absolutely clear that that is not on our agenda whatsoever. There are a number of important points that I think we need to note. Not least of all, but within the report before us tonight, the option that was originally there of simply closing the building has been taken off the table. Now, we around this table are only too well aware that the council has come under fire over the past year for supposedly failing to support voluntary and charitable organisations sufficiently. In the Thameside complex, there is not just a theatre, but there are other council services, and there are a number of voluntary or charitable bodies. A careful read of the document says who those bodies are and points out that currently only one of them, Thurrock Lifestyle Solutions, actually paid anything towards their accommodation. Now, the report suggests that in our current financial situation, this just cannot continue. And I think that everyone here would agree that it has to be the best and fairest way forward for everyone involved. As was made clear last year, we simply can no longer rely on the council taxpayer to bankroll these organisations 100%, although we will of course continue to do our best to help. So we're not suggesting here that we make a profit, but we are saying that costs have to be covered. What the report also makes clear is that, with the exception of the theatre, we can find alternative homes for the provision of all the other services based there: the library, the museum, the register office. So that really does leave us with the theatre. I'm pleased that Thurrock Council has been involved from the start of these discussions, and I have been clear that I genuinely believe that Thurrock should have, deserves a civic theatre. The next stage of discussions is to look at the various options more closely, and then to ensure that while these options are being considered, and then when one of those options is being delivered, that there are alternatives standing by. Alternatives that wouldn't be perfect perhaps, but alternatives for the current users of the theatre, if anything other than the do-nothing option should be chosen. If we chose to improve the current theatre in what is, after all, a concrete box of a building, that would involve major disruption for some time. The multi-venue proposal would also disrupt tradition, but it may have a role to play if other options are chosen anyway. And I think the two new build ideas are absolutely fascinating to consider, especially as Thurrock's arts and cultural heritage continues to build. So whatever the outcome, I think we're at a really exciting time. The work being done at High House is building Thurrock's cultural reputation on a worldwide scale. The work being done by South Essex College offers amazing opportunities for local young people, and the plans for Purpley that we've often discussed and now bolstered by some long overdue government support are simply amazing. I think this council has worked incredibly hard to bring these new opportunities to Thurrock, and that shows that our commitment to creating a thriving artistic scene here in Thurrock is absolutely genuine. So whatever outcome is eventually proposed, I want us to be sure that it's the right one for Thurrock and the right one for the borough's artistic community, both the new community and the existing community, those people that have been using the Thameside, treading the boards and keeping the light of the arts going in Thurrock for decades and decades and decades. The other thing that I think is important, that whatever decision is finally made, it has to be made quickly. We need to make that decision before the autumn, so we need everyone as partners, members, officers, the public, to continue the good work that is currently underway, going through these appraisals, and help us to deliver that aim and in that timely fashion. With that, I will open for questions and comments.
Since we had our first round of budget cuts, I think that the Thameside Theatre has always been one that's been bounced around. Should it go? Should it stop? Should it? And I really welcome this, because this is a great piece of work that gives us a real clear view about what the Thameside complex looks like, what the Thameside Theatre looks like, and what a theatre in Thurrock looks like going forwards. You know, and I'm the first person to say how passionate I am about growing up in Thameside Theatre. So I think it's a piece of good work, and I'd encourage anybody to feed into this, to make sure that if you've got a view on this and you live in Thurrock, then you need to be feeding into this piece of consultation, because don't wake up one morning and you go, oh, I should have said something, you know, because what we can't do is every year have the same problem of should we, shouldn't we. So I absolutely hope that the right decision's made, whatever that is, and that Thurrock gets a really, really good theatre offer, because that's what our residents deserve.
I think, I think it is fair to say that most of us would agree that some organisations that pay rent to the council and others don't. It's a system that needs to be rationalised. I think you also talked about the criticisms that we've had from the voluntary sector over the last year or so, and I think, I would say this because it's been me, but I think we have done whatever we can to help support them. One of the areas that they did criticise us for was on communication throughout the process. And while I do agree with the spirit of the recommendation, I would like to see some solid work being done to communicate, to explain the decision, and to make sure that sort of voluntary organisations just don't turn up with an invoice on their doorstep on Monday morning.
Close to people's hearts. The Thameside Theatre is indeed, it's very close to my heart, and as I can't remember not having a Thameside Theatre. I'd like to really welcome the options that we've got here and encourage members of the public to get involved with this decision-making process. There's so much scaremongering goes on around these kind of issues. Oh, the Thameside is going to close, and then you see these petitions popping up on Facebook and Twitter, etc., etc. And it's so important that all of us responsibly get the information out there to the public, true information, valid information, so that they can have a say and an input in their Thameside Theatre. And I think this paper meets those requirements. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? No? I mean, I've made my view clear before. I think it is really important that we have a civic theatre for Thurrock. I think that it's about aspiration as much as anything else. It's just something that I'll be really, really loath to lose. I also believe personally that should be in growth. It may be the current building refurbished, it may be new build on the current site, it may be a new build somewhere else. But what I don't want to see is the Thameside disappearing before there's something else to take its place, unless of course it is being refurbished. And I just really want to do what I can to make that clear this evening. With that.